is your most authoritative show on TV, The Pulse. We are live from our studios in Kokomlemle on your digital terrestrial TV because we're free to air on DSTV channel 421 and Go TV channel 144. Remember, we are your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. This afternoon, 2-year-old nursing mother crashed to death in yet another accident at Gomuampota near Gomuamampong on the Kaswa-Winneba Highway in the Central Region. Our reporters are on the scene for all the details. Also this afternoon, fresh research shows over 500 pedestrians die every year whilst crossing the road. Pedestrian knockdowns are said to account for close to 40% of all deaths on our roads. We have a big conversation coming up on The Pulse with all the people who matter in dealing with the problem. Plus you, the pedestrians, tell us what you think can resolve the road carnage canker. Also this afternoon, the COVID-19 pandemic is wreaking more havoc. We'll be gauging our situation as a country and also take you to Germany, where the president is currently in talks to get us vaccines, and also talk about restrictions there because the country is now in a fourth wave and the Delta variant is said to be responsible for 99% of all new cases. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. The Pulse is brought to you by Global Communities Dignilo Affordable Safe Sanitation. We are also streaming live on YouTube and all our social media handles. Tweet at us with the hashtag The Pulse. My personal handle is at the Nana Aisha. Always excited to host you.
What's up, guys? My name is Sammy Forson, host of the Weekend City Show and Ignition right here on Joy 99.7 FM. Well, anytime you happen to be busy and you miss out on your favorite shows right here on Joy FM, here's what you can do. Log on to myjoyonline.com/podcast. Just go on there and you'll find all your shows on demand 24/7. There you can catch up. Remember, Joy FM remains your radio for discerning listeners.
This afternoon, we are back with road safety issues still top of our agenda, and it's for only one reason. Many people continue to die on our roads in circumstances experts believe are completely avoidable. We have experts and people who've been working to address the high rate of road accidents in the country. We also have data from the National Road Safety Authority, which points to a worrying state of pedestrian knockdowns and head-on collisions in our inner city. That's for our discussion today. Before that though, let's take you through what's happening today. One person is reported dead after another accident at Gomuamampong, the same spot where 10 people died just 2 days ago in a crash. Two others, a driver and a 2-year-old baby girl, are said to be in critical condition at the Winneba Trauma Hospital. The Kaswa Cape Coast Road is seen as a dangerous spot where many accidents occur. We'll go live there now to Central Regional Correspondent Richard Kwejo-Nyakun. But before that, let me give you an update of Sunday's accident, which claimed 10 lives. And first, I would look at what the statistics have been saying about head-on collisions and pedestrian knockdowns. Over 500 pedestrians are knocked down and killed while crossing the road every year. And this is the statistic, the annual road traffic deaths per day of the week. And you'll be amazed at what you will find. On Mondays, you have 14.90%. On Tuesday, then you see that the curve, it will be coming down gradually. On Tuesday, 12.20%. On Wednesday, 11.80%. On Thursday, 13.50%. On Friday, it picks up, probably because that is when people begin to travel, when it's getting to the weekend. So on Fridays, you get 15.60%. And then on Saturdays, you have 16.90%. On Sunday, 15.10%. So that is the cycle. And then it comes back to Monday, because on Monday, people will be returning from their trips. And so you see that from 15.10 on Sunday, it comes back to 14.90 on Monday, and then it declines just like you're seeing on the graph right now. Let's look at the weather conditions prevailing during the road accidents. And you have clear roads, when the roads are actually clear and the weather is very clear, that is when you have 68.53% of accidents. The road is clear, everything is there, there's no problem, no rain, no fog. When there is fog, actually, you have 5.00%. That is surprising, because when you have fog, that's when you're supposed to be slowing down and taking your time. And people take that serious. But when the road is actually clear and the weather is clear, that's when the accidents are many. And when it's raining, you have 13.05%. And then there are other conditions, partly cloudy, all the other conditions accounting to 13.42%. Now, let's look at, all right, so these are the breakdowns we have for you this afternoon. So, top of it, you know that 500 pedestrians are always knocked down every year, 500 pedestrians, and they're killed while crossing the roads. My colleague Richard Kwejonyankon, who is our Central Region correspondent, joins us with more. Richard, share with us the story of that stretch.
Also, Aisha, this stretch accommodates volumes of vehicles. So in a day, you wouldn't count not less than 10,000 vehicles flying the Accra, Winneba, Cape Coast to Takoradi stretch of the road. In fact, it's a road that is usually very, very busy. Let's take the road from Cape Coast to Mankesim. Accidents do not normally occur on that particular part of the stretch because there are a lot of speed ramps that are there. And so when drivers are driving, they feel that they could run into some speed ramps, and so they take their time. But volumes of the accidents happen after Mankesim, and then after Winneba Junction, where we have Gomoa Mputa, where this accident occurred, where a stationary vehicle was run into by the pickup. And then it is very close to Gomoa Mampon, where the accident happened, and then it killed 10 people. And then you also have dominancy and all of that. So the accident keep happening on that particular stretch of the road. But a lot of them, majority of them, if you ask, they are due to wrongful overtaking, overspeeding, and all of that, because the drivers feel that the road is, they could run, they could speed on that particular stretch of the road, and so they don't care about anything. They don't even mind about anything. So they run. So if you stay on the shoulders of the road and then you watch how the activities of these vehicles right now, the movement of the vehicle, you will see that they are in a hurry. You do not know where exactly they are going. And so it is due to largely overspeeding and wrongful overtaking, because they feel that they can speed on the road. There are no impediment. The road is clear, and so they can run on that particular stretch of the road. And so you are right. The road from Winneba Junction, Gomoa Mputa, Gomoa Mampon, Dominancy, and all of those things, these are the areas that are the hotspot in terms of the accidents that we've been covering on this particular stretch of the road.
So how are people reacting to this fresh accidents? Some few days ago, people expressed anger at what is happening on that stretch. How are they responding to this fresh one?
Aisha, I tell you what, people are scared traveling on this particular stretch of the road. Some time ago, there was a statistic that the National Road Safety Authority came to the bank that it is one of the deadly roads we have in the country, in West Africa or in Africa. And so they came to the bank that they have not put out such statistics. But it is still scary traveling on that particular stretch of the road, because if you see how the drivers do behave, that is even during the day. At night, it is scarier because the visibility is good because of the lack of traffic, the street lights on the road. And so a lot happens there. The residents are worried. One, they are calling for the dualization of the road. After that, they've been calling for that kind of intervention. When the accident happened between the Commander Junction and Elmina, that claimed over 34 lives. When the roads and the transport ministers came to the scene, they said that it is with cabinet, and so they are deciding to dualize the road. So the residents felt a huge sigh of relief. They felt that, well, at long last, something is going to be done about it. But it's been close to 3 years ever since these pronouncements were made by these ministers. Nothing has been done. And that coupled with the lack of street lights and the darkness on this stretch of the road. And so that is what residents here are calling for.
Richard Kwejonyako is our correspondent in the Central Region. Now, our research department has been looking at the accident situation in Ghana with analysis of the data from the National Road Safety Authority. We found some shocking data there for you, and that is what I have shared. I shared a while ago. We found that more people are dying through knockdowns and during clear weather conditions than when there's bad weather. And so 500 people are said to die every year whilst crossing the road. And when the weather is clear, people are getting more involved in accidents. So that's it right there on your screen. Over 500 pedestrians knocked down and killed while crossing the road every year. And we have a bigger conversation coming up on this matter. Tomorrow, the Accra Metropolitan Assembly will be launching a road safety report for the capital, and we'll be following that to bring you all the details of their findings in that work they've been doing with Bloomberg Philanthropy's Initiative for Global Road Safety. We also have some of their engineers who worked on that report joining us today to share some insights with us. We'll be having that conversation shortly. Stay with me on the pulse. I'm coming right back.
Moses Adey is one of them. On Friday, 19th March 2021, 13-year-old Moses stepped out to buy food at Trader Junction and has since not returned home. Moses has been on admission at the Trauma and Orthopedics ward of the Confluence Teaching Hospital for almost 6 months.
I'm Can bomb many tinam the home at tram 9. And it's we say is then and bedaha. And I see then no tram 9. No Busan. No Busan said in Tino tram 9. No Sican, a bomb in a chili tiny fast in a yam dumping. Tino young she need Tino try.
I am in Kumasi for further information, and I get the opportunity to meet the police officers who were first dispatched to the accident scene.
This is the exact spot police officers found Moses on the day he was knocked by that taxi. He came to buy food from this woman, Gary and beans. He had finished and he was about boarding a tricycle that brought him when the taxi knocked him. And I understand when the police came, they found pool of blood right here, and I can see from where I am some parts of, I think, either the motorcycle or the taxi that knocked him.
Police in Trader is trying hard to understand how that taxi could veer off its lane without any obstruction and hit Moses. ASP Dorcas Mensah, the Trader District MTTD boss, however, says their investigations have slowed down.
The driver was billed and he was asked to be reporting himself. The investigator went with the surety to know where he's residing, and he went back to the hospital, took statement from the victim. Since he is minor, another statement too was taken from the mother. Since he is alive, he can tell us exactly what happened at the scene. So we are waiting. Either we can go to I don't know whether the doctors will allow it, but so far as he's now going for another surgery, I don't think it will be appropriate for us to move him from the hospital and send him to the scene. So we are waiting.
Moses has so far undergone 8 surgeries and has 2 more to do. But this pain is not what bothers him. The pain from the services he rendered his local church and school, which he may not be able to render again.
Those were excerpts of a documentary put together by my colleague Seth Kwame Boateng, The Crash. And Joining me in the studio to do the discussion, Sedkwan Boateng is here himself. Nana Anoame here is chairman of the Road Safety Advocates Ghana. And via Zoom, Ebenezer Baidu would also be joining us. He is with Bloomberg Philanthropies Initiative for Global Road Safety. And Sedkwan Boateng have also joined us in the studio, thankfully. We've been speaking to people about the dangers on the road as pedestrians. Listen to what they have to say.
Yes, I do. And I say this because most of the drivers on the streets or on the roads are very indisciplined. Because even where pedestrians are supposed to walk, you see drivers driving on the wings of the road, which endangers the lives of all the pedestrians. Yeah. Well, I haven't experienced that myself. I've seen that several times in La Paz. You know, when you get to La Paz, after the Gwe filling station, most of the drivers will always want to use the wings, and I've seen several times knocking people and other times to crashing with motorbikes who are using the flanks. Yeah.
All right, so sometimes I do get scared because of the reckless driving. Sometimes when they are trying to dodge potholes and other stuff, so and some are coming unconsciously, they just give a very high horn, which can scare you thinking something is happening. Yeah. So yeah, I think that was yesterday night around Spinters Road. Yeah, I was about crossing. I looked left and right before I realized there was a that got me scared. So I have to check back before moving back here.
Yeah, most times I feel at risk, but it's just the trotro drivers, they need to, most time when they see pedestrian crossing, they need to bring down the speed. That's just it. I've seen someone knocked down by a trotro, and the guy had to reverse and go. There was no even aid. Nobody came to the aid. Still, he was just there.
Sure, because you sometimes happen to see vehicles parking on the pavement. That's putting one side of the tire on the pavement. And it's possible, some even, especially when there's traffic, they want to make their way out of the traffic as quickly as they can. So they tend to make use of the pavement. So for me, it's risky sometimes. So usually when I'm walking, I usually want to face the direction of where the movement of the car is coming from. I prefer facing the car rather than having the car behind me, because being knocked down by a car on the pavement is highly possible. I think that would be at Kaswa. Yes, I had a car horn at me because the car drove onto the pavement. So he has to horn for me to give way, even though that wasn't a road. So that's a little experience I can share.
Yes, I do. You know the nature of our roads, especially when you don't have the metal rails by it. And assuming I am walking towards this direction, the vehicle is coming behind me. Anything at all is capable of happening. So surely you feel at risk. And you always have to watch your back when you are going, because you know the nature of our roads and how our vehicles are. Yeah, so not really, but at times when you are driving, you see a couple of such incidents happening where one has to fail the brake and then you see them going across, knocking individuals and so. But personally, I don't have such experience, but I've experienced it happen to others. Yes.
But to me, anytime I'm walking on the road, I'm very alert, so that I won't be knocked by a car or anything like that. So it's just being careful about yourself. Yeah, that's all.
Yes, I do.
Okay, do you have any experiences to share?
Yeah, when I was in level 100, I was knocked down by a motorbike at Amanfrom Junction, where the bus stop is. And from my perspective, it was the fault of the trotro drivers trying to stop to pick up passengers. So that kind of messy situation led to the motorcycle person hitting me. So yeah, that's my experience. That's why I'm always afraid of walking close by the roadside. Yeah.
And those were comments from the streets of Accra. And thankfully, Engineer Samuel Boama Dankwa, who is a safer street and mobility coordinator at the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, has also joined this conversation. Gentlemen, I'm grateful for your time. I'll start right here in the studio, and I'll begin with Seth Kwamboateng. Seth Kwamboateng, I saw how you were fuming this afternoon when we had information about another accident which has killed one more person. I mean, you must be feeling terrible right now, because I mean, this is something we've been talking. In fact, we're trying to digest what happened during the weekend. We are not done with that, and here we are. There's another one coming in. How does that make you feel?
I have not been able to overcome what happened last weekend, that we lost around 21 lives, and just 2 days after, we are hearing of this. So
28 lives, I think.
Okay, so it's really, really pathetic how we seem not to be appreciating lives. And I cited an example, or I said something a while ago. I asked, when was the last time you heard the vehicle carrying X having involved in an accident? Hardly do we hear of that.
Hardly do. I mean, drivers are extra careful when they are carrying X.
But not when it comes to human lives. We often hear the drivers say that, I'm going to like throw them somewhere and come back. You understand? And it happens. So this afternoon we are hearing of a 2-month or 2-year-old baby battling for his life.
Yeah, a 2-year-old.
Yeah, a 2-year-old. And just last 3 weeks or so, in Ashanti region, a 2-week-old baby. Yeah. The mother was going for postnatal clinic. They sat on Okada. They were involved in an accident. So the baby head hit the ground. And that baby, as we speak, is still struggling for her life. She's only 2 weeks. And here is the case, per the statistics, we are losing approximately 9 lives every day in Ghana. Per the statistics, it used to be 6 lives, but now from the statistics, if you do the calculation, we are losing approximately 9 lives daily. Meaning by the close of today, we would have lost 9 lives. And some of these people are breadwinners. You understand? When they were leaving their homes, they told their families, see you later this evening. Are they going back? And just yesterday, the police hospital issued a statement that they were about burying some unidentified bodies this week. And I can tell you, from the little I know, a number of these unidentified bodies are people who are involved in road traffic accident. So nobody shows up, no relative shows up, they are going to mass bury them. Meaning these people have been killed in road traffic accident, and no family member is aware. No family member is aware, so they are going to be mass buried. So you might be there thinking you've not seen this relative for a very long time. Who knows? Perhaps that person is among those going to be mass buried this week. And they are not only adults, children are involved. My latest documentary showed that there are quite a number of children who have been killed through road traffic accident. No relative knows they have been killed. Nobody has come to identify them. So they're also going to be mass buried. So we often hear on radio or in the media that, oh, this child has gone missing for weeks. We've seen those statements over and again, that this child has gone missing, we can't find. Probably he or she is among those who have been killed through road traffic accident. And some have been mass buried, and this week, some more will be mass buried.
Nana, you've been issuing statements on this issue, and of course, over the period, you've been doing a lot of work on road safety. You must be worried that drivers carrying eggs are more careful than carrying human beings.
Yes, I've used that analogy all the time. Before I start, let me greet your cherished viewers and listeners. And deducing from what said, the indefatigable said, Martin just said. You see, and let me quote Albert Einstein. Yeah, Albert Einstein is credited with saying that the highest level of insanity is doing things, the same thing all the time and expecting different results. Look, why am I saying this? We've been here, said what has been on the road. He's been talking about road safety, this and that, and rather, the numbers are becoming exponentially, you're getting an exponential increment in the numbers. Yeah. There's no reduction. So that means that we must find different strategies. People talk about, you see, in Ghana, sometimes I marvel. When the roads are bad, I mean, per your statistics, and the weather is clear, that's where we get more crashes.
That's quite surprising.
And it's very, very paradoxical that when the road condition,
the weather
condition is clear, everything, then, and there's also, we experienced in the north when we went for accident investigation, when the road is clear, no tangent, no curve, no bend, as they say in Ghana, and there's no hill, it's straight line. Then people fall asleep, and they crash. When you think the road, there are no potholes, that it's conducive for driving. Rather, you get people, whatever. So when you want to narrow it down, where the problem is about training and enforcement of the law.
So who should we fault?
Well, I'm not going to sit here and be a judge and say that we should fault this, but
we must
should
name and shame if we would get somewhere with this conversation. Otherwise, it will also become talk, and nothing is achieved.
You know, Ghana, the speaker of the truth in Ghana is the enemy #1 of the state.
Okay.
So sometimes you have to be measured in some of the things by not going out like our even statement that we issued.
We need to know those who are the duty bearers, who is supposed to take the blame for this. Then we can hold them responsible.
Yes, I use the word irresponsible and insensitive. And I'm getting some comments, that, it's too strong a word. But how else can an advocate express his frustrations that things are there, but the authorities who are responsible for enforcing those laws are not doing it? There's selective justice in this country, especially on the roads. The road traffic regulations clearly stipulates the do's and the don'ts on the roads.
Okay.
Look, clearly, if you come to your front, the street in your front there, hawking is not allowed. It's part of the regulations.
Yeah.
That's the low-hanging fruits that we can easily deal with. But what do you see? I once accosted a police officer. I said, but you're here in the midst of these street hawkers. But the law says that they cannot hawk on the street. So, the policeman, you are there to enforce the law. You are not there to say that, oh, I'm going to be a social worker. That's
not your job.
The job of the policeman is there to enforce the law.
Yeah.
But they choose and select. Even the police officers themselves, you see them going on a motorbike without helmet.
Yeah.
So if the enforcer of the law is actually violating or breaching the law, who does he expect to obey the law?
Aisha, like what happened today, the accident in Gomwa.
Yeah.
A car was spoiled and was in the middle of the road.
Okay.
I understand there was no warning triangle. So, meaning no police officer passed and saw the vehicle. No police officer saw.
These are questions that
These are
beg
questions.
answers.
Exactly. And we know the one that happened at Tesano a few months ago, early in the morning, where somebody died, 2 people died. You understand? It was so close to the Tesano police station.
Yeah.
And officers passed there daily. As soon as the accident happened, people died, they were able to tow the vehicle. So what is happening?
Why didn't we correct this?
Yes, on my way from Kumasi, after we premiered the documentary, something happened and I was shocked. Behind me was this young guy driving at the 80 or 100, speeding. I saw him from my mirror, overtaking about 6 cars.
Wow.
Then he came right behind me. Then he overtook me, came in front of me.
Wow.
And there was a lot of traffic. So I managed to maneuver and I came to him and I said, bro, slow down.
Slow down.
Because your life is very important. He said, okay. Then when the traffic started moving, I saw him and I counted about 6 other cars.
That he overtook.
He overtook. Then when he was about coming back to his lane, he met this articulator. So he had to go down on the side of the articulator.
Lucky him.
Then the articulator passed. Then he came in again.
Goodness.
So imagine if there was another car coming.
Because the articulator would have blocked the others from
and he
seeing
came in
what
again.
was happening behind
and
it.
Aisha, I didn't see him again.
Wow.
I didn't see him again.
It's interesting. I mean, because when you came in, the first question I asked, what is happening to us? Because we are talking about this and we're doing a lot of things. Yesterday in our conversation, we talked about how we need dual carriage ways, roads and all of that. Luckily, we have the experts who've been conducting some research in that area. Let me bring you in. Let me bring in this one from Bloomberg. He's been doing some research. Tell me about what you found in that research. Ebenezer, kindly unmute for me.
Hello.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Yes, Ebenezer.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah.
Loud
Good
and clear.
afternoon to your panelists and to your viewers and listeners. Okay. So in the 2019-2020 police crash data that we collected and analyzed, the findings show that we lost 73 pedestrians in 2019 and 77 of them in 2020. And if you should combine this data, 71 of these pedestrians were actually knocked down by lightweight vehicles in the city. And in this case, we are looking at cars, pickups, and SUVs. Okay. And bus and minibus also knocked down 33 pedestrians in the city between 2019 and 2020 as well. And we saw motorcyclists also knocking 21 pedestrians. So this is what our current findings show in our report. And it's quite sad that, in fact, most of these deaths are also occurring at the intersection points and on multiple lane corridors in the city. So if you take the N1, for instance, there's been a lot of pedestrian deaths on that stretch, especially between Apenkwa Interchange and Dimples Roundabout.
So with all these, did you find out exactly what caused these accidents? Was it speeding on the path of the drivers?
Obviously, that's the underlying factor. And that is why, as part of this initiative, we've also considered speeding as a risk factor, contributing to the death that is being recorded in the city. Even though the Johns Hopkins observational studies have confirmed that general prevalence of speeding has reduced in the city, but we are still seeing pedestrian deaths increasing. As I mentioned earlier, in 2019, the official reported deaths among pedestrians was 73, but in 2020, it increased to 77. So obviously, speeding is contributing. And of course, there are other factors that we can say it's on the part of the pedestrians, because some of them are also inattentive when they are crossing the road, especially the highways in the city.
Now, Samuel Boama, you are with the AMA, and I know you've been putting together a lot of stuff, which you seek to launch tomorrow. Tell me, what are some of the measures you're putting in place to deal with some of these issues?
Thank you very much, and hello to my panelists and all viewers and listeners. So over time, it's been observed that pedestrians have been the highest casualties when it comes to road crashes within the city of Accra. And so in 2017, we put together and launched a pedestrian action plan, which was to help bring together all relevant stakeholders who, one way or the other, implement specific interventions to support pedestrian safety within the city of Accra, and put all these together to ensure we follow through to have pedestrian safety. And so since this action plan came into being, we have significantly been implementing some of these key interventions. For instance, the allocations of particular stretches that didn't have any speed limit signs at all. And so through the initiatives efforts, these were highlighted and the speed limit signs were implemented. Then again, if you look at specific intersections, you realize that the traffic signal timing to facilitate safe pedestrian movement were not adequate. And so anytime pedestrians needed to cross, they were in a hurry, running, etc. And so with the support of the road agencies, these pedestrian signal timings were increased to allow pedestrians to cross safely. Then again, at pedestrian crossing locations, there's what we call the curb. Usually the curbs are raised, and that is wrong design. They are supposed to be lowered to flush with the road surface, and that allows for uninterrupted and free flow for pedestrians to cross, and also for people who are in wheelchairs to cross the road safely. And so these, together with remarking of pedestrian crossings, remarking of road lines, etc., are a few of the interventions that have been put in place to support pedestrian safety within the city of Accra. And I should say that this is being done in support of all relevant stakeholders. The road agencies are on board, the enforcement team are on board, National Road Safety Authority on board. And so with the support of the Pedestrian Action Plan, quite significant implementation has been done.
Earlier, Anoa Amir talked about how pedestrians have taken over our streets, and he even had to accost a policeman for not checking this.
Yes.
I mean, this is something that is so easy to control. One of the easiest things we can control. What's the role of the AMA, and for that matter, your outfits, in helping to check some of these things? Because when the people are not on the road, the cars will not run over them. I mean, at least we can control some of those accidents.
Yes, definitely. If you look at the principles of road safety, people look at a number of E's. Some call it the 3 E's, the 4 E's. So you look at the engineering components to ensure that the roads are designed safely to support safe pedestrian movement. You look at enforcement, which also comes to support enforcing any regulation that has come into force to support pedestrian safety. You look at education, which also helps us to conscientize people of the need to cross at the specific locations and to use the pedestrian walkway instead of walking on the road corridor itself. But there is a silent E, which I would want to emphasize, which has to do with everyone. It has been said that road safety is a shared responsibility. So all these factors could be put in place, engineering-wise, enforcement-wise, education-wise, but we as citizens should also ensure that we really respect the rules that govern us when it talks about being in the road space. Once you step into the road space, you are open to a certain level of risk. And so for us as pedestrians, it's also very relevant for us. The AM over the years have been helping to enforce some of these things. And so there's been a lot of education. Some significant communication has gone on. From time to time, we see to clearing hawkers who have taken over existing pedestrian walkways, because what that literally does is when the hawkers take over the walkways, then pedestrians are compelled to walk on the road corridor, and that is very injurious to their lives. So over time, these are some of the interventions we've been putting together to support pedestrian safety.
Seth Kwambwache, you wanted to...
Yes, Aisha, let me just walk you through the pedestrian lockdowns we recorded this year.
Okay.
This year.
Just this year.
And this is from January to July.
To July. That's half of the year.
1,470 across the country.
1,470.
1,470. And I'm getting this from the Police Motor and MTTD.
MTTD, yes.
And out of this, 423 were
already
killed.
Dead. Okay, so it means that we may pass the number of the 500 we are even talking about a year, because if half the year we've already recorded 423
and 1,046 got injured.
This is alarming.
And this is just between January and July. So all those who have been knocked down in the month of August, we have not added.
We've not added that.
We have not added that. Just in 7 months, we've lost 423
people.
Yes, and we've had 1,470 people knocked down across the country.
Nana, I'm happy that he talked about the silent E. On top of the malfunctioning traffic lights, and then the bad roads and non-enforcement of our laws, there's also the bit about every one of us having collective responsibility. I mean, how do we tackle it from here?
Yes, Aisha, you see, I always say that as far as safety is concerned, everybody owes it to himself, personally. The safety, your personal safety, you owe it to yourself before somebody else steps in.
Definitely.
You don't expect the government to take care of your safety or somebody else to take care of your safety. But before I go further, you see, he mentioned something about conscientization. And I've always believed that, you see, your formative years, that is very crucial. That when you are age 2 as a toddler and you are taught how to cross the road and how to interact with the roadway. Like there was a video, I don't know whether you saw it, from a Japanese video with their kids being taught from age 2 how they go even on the collector street, with the street that is not the arterial roads. Because arterial roads are not for human passage, crossing. But the kids will go, the typical Japanese, they will cross and they bow. When the motorists allow them to, then they will bow their heads. And so that same child, when he knows and he grows up to be a driver, he will be also according the same protocols to those who are crossing the road. But here in Ghana here, those pedestrians who are being knocked down, they don't even know how to cross the road. Last time on one of your programs, about 4 or 5 years ago, I was talking to you about footer training. Footer. I narrowed it down as a footer. Pedestrian is a footer. And that footer also doubles up later on to be a driver. So if he has been conscientized and he's been trained or indoctrinated, if I should use that strong word, to know how to interact on the roadway, that person, there will be no knockdowns or what have you. But when you see a driver that sees a pedestrian, even on a zebra crossing,
and will still speed.
They will still be passing by. And so, classic example, when we were playing golf at Achimota, you know, when you are crossing the road, we have zebra crossing there. The drivers will not be stopping for us. You know what we do? With, you know, our pata is metal. So when you want to cross the road, you put it in front of you, like this. Will they cross with the metal and allow their windscreen to and that is what these drivers.
But we shouldn't
that's what they
go
understand.
through this. And sometimes you see that when the lights are off, human beings do not use their brains and say that, okay, let's stop for this one to pass or that. Because the lights are off, so it's we are all moving.
Is it the same human beings who are in the UK, in Japan?
Exactly.
But here we are not human beings, we are animals?
Yes.
Is that what you're referring?
But what I want to find out from you, you've been doing a lot of work with Road Safety Commission. What has been the efforts over the period to correct some of these things?
You see, road safety, until it turned into authority, it was just a coordinator. They didn't have any teeth to bite. And I've always said that if you don't give road safety or road safety commission teeth to bite, they will forever be just scratching the surface.
Thankfully, it's now an authority.
It's even an authority. The LI is not even
has not been passed.
Has not been passed. So they are still in the same. But they are doing very well, preparing themselves, gearing themselves up for the LI to come through. But under the circumstances, but for me, you said name and blame. Where I'm really going to put my neck out and whatever is the MTTD. The MTTD is not enforcing the laws at all, because the little push that National Road Safety Authority is doing, if it's complemented by enforcement, we will cut the whatever into half. And also, that's a point that was made, that the attention we attach to the COVID.
That's where I'm coming.
Let me see.
Not give him that same attention.
As a public health person, I need to say this. You see, we have planned interventions for COVID. We have national plan, regional plan, district plan for COVID. And we have committees in charge to make sure that we are able to handle COVID. What is our national plan
for road safety?
You see, in 17 months, COVID came last year, March. So last year, March till date, 17 months, we've lost about 961. I don't know if somebody has died today.
Even run it up to 1,000.
Yes. Yeah. So in 17 months, we've lost, let's say, 1,000.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the case: road traffic accident. In 7 months, the 19 who died over the weekend are not part. Those who died today, not part. In just 7 months, we've lost 1,706.
Wow.
1,706.
That's more.
And we have not declared this pandemic yet. We are not seeing a national plan. We are not hearing from the transport ministry.
Yeah.
Transport ministry.
Yesterday,
what the plan is. And it is sad. Are we waiting for a VVIP to be crashed before we activate all these things?
Yeah.
And I'm asking, we are saying 9 people would have been killed by the close of today. Yeah. Aisha, let's think about it. Who is next?
Who is next?
No, but sir,
who is next?
Sir, it's also instructive to ask, on that pandemic, how much have we spent on the pandemic?
Exactly.
You've spent over $1 billion.
Yes. And how much have we
last time I said it on your whatever, that he is sitting here. The plans, that the technology and other things that is available.
Yep.
If you give me $100 million, just $100 million, paltry sum, $100 million,
you can
I will cut the road carnage on the status. I'll cut it into half in first year, 1 year. And going into 2 years, we will be going towards Sweden standards. It's there.
Look, I think the will, the political will, I don't think it's there.
Let me tell you, UMAT. Now they have got technology for checking speeding on our roads.
Okay.
You just need to really bring it and actualize it on our roads. There's so much that we can do now. We rely on archaic systems of getting a policeman on the roadside, using this speed gun and all that. Those things are now obsolete.
And once there are human beings involved, I mean, there will be, people will compromise. Will be compromised
until we get somebody boldly come out and catalog interventions. We are doing A from tomorrow. We are doing B from today. Until we hear that, Aisha, we will keep talking.
Are we ever going to hear that?
It's my hope. I'm praying that we hear that. Because Aisha, when we all left home, we told our family, see you this evening.
Yeah.
And we are saying 9 people would be killed by close of today. Again, who is next?
Your nine that you're talking about. You see, you mentioned that there are some unknown, unidentified people.
We don't hear.
So the 9 is not. The 9 is not what we are talking about. 10 to 11. The statistics.
Yeah. Okay, so those we hear and police go there and report. We are saying about 9.
Yes,
but there are many others we don't even hear.
Yeah.
Okay, let me bring in Ebenezer from Bloomberg. Ebenezer, what are the recommendations you put up in this research you put together? Kindly unmute for me, Ebenezer.
Hello. Asha, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
All right. Okay. So, the
Ebenezer's internet is poor. We'll try and get him. Let's fix his internet and then we can wrap up this conversation. But Samuel, I want to take your last words. What are we going to be seeing from tomorrow as you launch that report you seek to launch?
Well, if you look at the highlights of the report, they point us to the specific indicators of where we are failing to get road safety up to where we want to get to. So it's primarily, the data is primarily showing us the various hotspots that we need to give the needed attention to. So for all of us as stakeholders, it will be very relevant to be in this program, to have copies of the report, and to use it as a basis to plan the various interventions we need to put together to ensure that safety is paramount. The figures my colleagues mentioned are very significant because these may look like normal figures, but behind each of these numbers is a human face and a human life. And so we should give the necessary attention it deserves to ensure that lives are preserved on our road space.
And let me take your final word. Has his internet been fixed? Ebenezer, is your internet fixed? Hello, Ebenezer. Okay, so I was talking about the recommendations you put together.
I can hear you, Aisha.
All right, so let me in the recommendations that you put together.
Okay, so the key recommendations are on police enforcement that it should be intensified, especially on weekends, because the report found that 51% of road deaths occur on weekends. That is Fridays to Sundays. This is when most of the fatal crashes occur. So if we should have enforcement intensify within this period, the numbers will change, and definitely that pattern will change as well. And we also entreat the road agencies, especially the National Road Safety Authority, to also intensify the mass media campaigns, targeting especially the male drivers in this regard, because we notice that most of the fatal crashes are recorded highly among males relative to the females in this regard. So we've seen that majority are pedestrians who are coming or recording high deaths in the city. So once we target this group of people, looking at their demographic profile, that is their gender and then age, targeting these people and educating them would definitely change these patterns and ensure that the city space is safe for all road users.
Right, so that's Ebenezer there, and Samuel is also from the other. Let me take my last words from you. There's been the question about dualization of our roads, whether it's the panacea to our problems. I mean, for you, is that what we need to stop all of this?
No, dualization. You see, I hear people calling themselves experts and whatever. They haven't studied the situation, what is actually causing all these head-on collisions that you hear about. You see, when you go on the road, you have vehicles that are not roadworthy to be on the road. And those that are laden to the brink, to the hilt, that they cannot even do 5 kilometers an hour. And they are going on these roads which have curves on them, like the main, the Trans-West African Highway, which is from Aflao all the way down to my place, Lubo, in Zama. If you look at the road, the vehicles that are on the road are crawling, doing 5 kilometers an hour. And you have these vehicles that we used to call them one pound. I don't know what they call them these days. The vehicles that load about 9, the Dodge, they have 9 passengers, and they want to go from Accra and offload their passengers and come back again. They are in haste. So when they want to overtake,
the Ford vehicles,
when they want to overtake, and there will be a pile-up of about 10 vehicles, 20 vehicles behind these crawling vehicles doing 5 kilometers an hour. And then they go through these vehicles that are laden to the hill that they cannot even do 10 kilometers an hour. They go through police barriers. One time, I followed one and stopped him at the Biriwa checkpoint and told the police officers that this vehicle cannot be on the road because we followed this vehicle and it's causing traffic on the road. And then I left them, and they said, "Oh, they told me that they don't have the mechanism of checking the load. They can't look at the thing, the vehicle, and see that it's overladen. But if I can see that vehicle is overladen, how can the police officers can see? They say, well, they are not trained to do that.
Wow.
So I thought they will offload some of the timber that has been laden that was causing those things. I went to Winneba. I got to Winneba and stopped there for about an hour and a half to rest because of the traffic at Bujumbura. And lo and behold, this same truck that I asked the police to ensure that it doesn't go on the road with that whatever, he came and passed and going about his business, normal business. So really, don't have time. But there are a lot of underlying factors that are causing these head-on collisions. Driver training. So this, what do you call it, this N1, the motorway, or the 3 lanes that they did, before motorway.
Yes.
The time that it was being launched, we didn't have any motorway in Ghana. That our drivers have not been trained on driving in multiple lanes.
Okay.
So I thought the police, MTT, I suggested at that time, the MTTD should have about 10 motor riders on each side of the road and then take the opportunity to sensitize. When they see like a vehicle who is driving about 10 kilometers an hour, is in the inner lane, where it's meant to be over, not speeding, for overtaking.
Yeah. Okay.
Because as per the regulations, when you overtake in the inner lane, you go back to the outside lane, original lane. You see, whether there's vehicles in the inner lane or not, or whatever. But here, the mentality is that, oh, I'm my family lane, also found here. Look at it. I've taken my lane. So what is your business hooting at me? So if you go on the motorway, you see a lot of drivers who hog. The term is hog. They hog the inner lane, and when you want to, then so you see what you call serpentine driving.
Just like the scenario that
serpentine driving, and vehicles doing 150 kilometers an hour doing serpentine driving. Definitely, there will be a conflict.
It's just out of this place. But Seth Kwamboateng, what are the lessons we should learn from the documentary you pick up? I mean, you speak with people and all of that. What cues should we take?
There are faces behind the numbers.
Definitely.
That's what I want to put across. Faces behind the numbers.
Yeah.
So we are saying 6 children are being killed every week.
Yeah.
6 children. So they are faces, human lives.
If it hasn't come to you, or if your family member hasn't been involved, you shouldn't think that they are just numbers.
So there are faces, and that is what we should be thinking about every day. So if you are watching us, you left home, you told your family you'll be back. When you're going back, please be careful how you drive.
Yeah.
Because you've told them you'll be back.
Yep.
So they are expecting
they must see you in one full piece.
Marshall, my last word. I hear the IGP, new IGP. He's an action man.
Yeah.
So I want him to get onto the motorway and stop those pedestrians who don't have any care for their lives. Stop them from crossing, and also stop the trotters from stopping and discharging passengers
in the middle of the road.
On the shoulder of the road. Soliciting for passengers on the motorway.
Stations they've made over there.
Soliciting for. Can you imagine?
It's amazing that we have to bring in the IGP to deal with this.
No, but he's a hands-on IGP. That's why I'm imploring that he should come and then.
He's been tried and tested.
Okay,
and we hope that.
Dr. Akufo-Dampare, this is a challenge thrown to you, and this is a conversation we'll continue to have until there is sanity on our roads, and then we'll reduce the deaths on our roads. Seth Kwamboateng is my colleague. He's been working a lot on road safety, and if you watch that documentary, you'll be amazed at the interesting things that he found in there. Nanano Amihir, he is also chairman for the Road Safety Advocate Ghana. Thank you so much for coming, Nanano Amihir. And also those who joined us via Zoom, Ebenezer Beidu, he is a roads injury and surveillance coordinator at Bloomberg Philanthropies Initiative, and Samuel Buama Dankwa, who is also road design transport coordinator, also with the Bloomberg Philanthropies Initiative. I'm extremely grateful, gentlemen, for your time this afternoon. Now, meanwhile, transport experts are campaigning for the construction of dual carriageways on the country's major roads. This comes after 21 people died in 3 separate accidents last weekend. The experts believe this can be one of the ways of reducing the carnage on the country's roads. Here's Director of Building and Roads Research Institute, Dr. Senso Jambibi, speaking on PM Express last night.
We need to start dualizing our highways. We have to dualize our highways. We are a middle-income country, and we've got to do that. Do you know that from 1991 to 2019, the number of vehicles on our roads have increased by 2,089%. In a space of 28 years, we have an increase of vehicles on our roads, 2,089. So if these vehicles are all on our roads and we do not have an effective road infrastructure, then there's cause for alarm, and these accidents will continue to occur. So we need to dualize our roads and improve them. If you look at the bypasses we have at Nsuam and Nkoko, you would realize that accidents on these stretches have reduced significantly. Gone were the days when we had the Potrase in the eastern region. where almost every day there was an accident. Now that these bypasses have come, you realize that these black spots are no more there because we have been able to dualize them and taking the accidents off the accident black spots. So road infrastructure is very key.
Ranking Member of Parliament's Roads and Transport Committee, Kwame Agboja, believes the country does not have the needed resources now to provide dual carriageways for all major roads.
The total amount of money in the budget for 2021 for capital investment in roads is 1 billion Ghana cedi. We are told a kilometer of asphalt is about $1 million. You find out how many kilometers you can build with 1 billion Ghana cedi. Anybody who thinks that, okay, from Accra, from Tema to Aflao, maybe 170 kilometers, Tema to Ho, 165 kilometers thereabout. From Accra to Kumasi, over 200 and something kilometers. Similar distances to Takrady. In effect, we are looking for what? Maybe 1,000 kilometers of dualization of that road. To be frank with you, there's no space in the budget to be able to do that. So whilst we are trying to do that as a long-term intervention, Doc talked about certain things that we can be doing in terms of enforcement and at least maintenance of road. Indeed, some of the accidents are avoidable because the nature of the road, potholes and other things, drivers trying to maneuver and dodge these things, fall into the bush or go into the veer onto the direction of the oncoming vehicle. So if we have our way, the 78,000 kilometers of road we talked about, if we have our way, half of them will be dualized. But is it realistic to think that tomorrow morning, the road minister is going to announce that we are dualizing all these major roads? I don't think it's realistic.
We're still live on The Pulse. Remember to tweet at us with the hashtag The Pulse. My personal handle is at the Nana Aisha. Let's have a conversation on The Pulse because when we return, family of the late slain social activist Ibrahim Mohammed alias Kaka has questioned the delay in the implementation of the recommendation of the report by the 3-member committee. Stay with me. We'll have that discussion after this break.
Hi, this is Lexus Bill, host of Drive Time on Joy 99.7 FM. Listen, you don't have to worry if you miss Drive Time or Personality Profile. It's going to be live on our podcast page. Just log on to www.myjoyonline.com/podcast. You can listen to Drive Time, Personality Profile, and any other of your favorite shows on Joy FM on that page. You don't have to miss a show at all. Joy 99.7 FM, radio for discerning listeners.
Welcome back to The Pulse. Family of the late slain social activist Ibrahim Mohammed alias Kaka has questioned the delay in the implementation of the recommendation of the report by the 3-member committee tasked to investigate the disturbances at Ejura. Family spokesperson of the late Kaka, Nafiu Mohammed, observed that the youth of Ejura are unhappy with the delay. Government set up a committee to probe the Ejura disturbances that ensued following the murder of the deceased. The committee, days after its work, submitted its recommendations to the Interior Minister almost a month ago, but government has remained tight-lipped on the findings established by the committee led by Justice Kumsen. We'll hear shortly from the family, but first, how did we get here? Ohim Interior of our security desk has put together a report chronicling the events so far.
Documents have revealed social activist Ibrahim Mohammed, also known as Kaka Machu, was attacked whilst entering his Ejura-Dagomba line residence on June 26, 2021. His assailants, who wielded clubs, attacked his occipital region, left him in an unconscious state and fled. He died on 28 June 2021, 3 days after the incident at Komfanoche Teaching Hospital. Kaka's death sparked clashes in Ejura, leading to the shooting to death of 2 people, whilst 4 others suffered gunshot injuries.
So one person has been shot, and you can see him in your shot there.
A committee of inquiry, chaired by Court of Appeal Judge Justice George Kingsley Compson, was set up by government to investigate the clashes. Members of the committee included security expert Dr. Vladimir Nchidanso and media executive Juliet Amwa, with a principal state attorney as secretary.
Having recorded this fraction of the evidence,
it began its public engagement on July 5, 2021, after a visit to Ejura, and received testimonies from 22 witnesses, including 3 in camera.
The evidence I shall give to this committee.
Among them was Municipal Chief Executive for Ejura Sechidumase, Mohammed Salisu Bamba. He told the committee 2 of the 3 persons arrested in connection with the murder of the late Kaka Machu are polling station executives of the New Patriotic Party in Ejura. They are Fuseni Alasa and Ibrahim Isaka, also known as Enyas.
you know one person called Anyas?
Yes, I know him.
What is your relationship with him?
Anyas is our police station executive, and the other guy, Alasan, is also our police station executive. Actually, Anyas is at GKC police station, and Anyas is in the Gombalai FM-based police station. They are MPP party members that I know.
Mr. Bamba was also quizzed on his relationship with the 2 men, said to be his bodyguards.
Were the 2 people that were arrested, are they your bodyguards?
Not at all.
But was the late Kaka Machu a known member of the Fix the Country movement? His wife and cousin provided the committee some answers.
Additional to the work that he does, he also goes round to ascertain within the community, wherever he finds that something is going wrong.
One critical issue that came up at the committee's hearing was who ordered the military men to Ejura. Ashanti Regional Minister Simon Osei Mensah admitted he did.
I called the commanding officer for battalion, Lieutenant Colonel Pepra, to dispatch some of the Operation Calm Life teams to go to Ejura to provide protection during that night.
Ejura Nifahini, Nana Osekweju Ansebie II on the 11th day sitting of the committee described how politics has eaten into almost everything in Ejura.
My Lord, there's nothing that happens in Ejura that you can take politics out of it. In Ejura, everything, including weddings, engagements, everything, there's some element of politics in it, depending on who is doing it.
The committee received 117 videos, 555 pictures, and 1 audio in evidence during the 12-day public hearing.
So in all, we have spent 12 days of examining the evidence.
However, some witnesses came under a barrage of attacks after appearing before the committee. Prominent among them was Love FM's Erastus Asaredonko, whose testimony was described as stupid and irrelevant by Chairman of Parliament's Defence and Interior Committee, Kennedy Ejapong. But Justice Kumsin told journalists on July 16, 2021, none of the evidence received was foolish.
Who decides what is stupid? We as a committee, we are a fact-finding committee. And we've not come out to say that anyone's evidence is stupid or is irrelevant. Erastus gave evidence, a lot of evidence, video, and apart from that, I think he appeared before us, testified, yes, oral testimony. And I don't think none of his evidence looks stupid.
On July 27, 2021, the committee presented its report in a 55-page document to the Interior Minister, Ambrose Derry, who promised to study and report findings to President Akufo-Addo. From Kumasi, for JoyNews, Ohiminteria reporting.
Ohiminteria is on Zoom to speak with us on the complaints by the family. Now, Ohimin, what have they been telling you with regards to their worry over delays in implementing the recommendations carried out by that 3-member committee?
Thank you, Aisha. For the family, they are not satisfied with the delay in implementing the outcome of the committee's report though they are not all that, satisfied with the work of the committee, knowing very well that the committee did not sit to look into the killing of their relative, the late Ibrahim Mohammed, also known as Kaka Mechu. For them, they believe strongly that implementing the recommendations of the committee will go a long way, as a step up in getting what they call justice for the victims in the Ejura clashes. And it will be a stepping stone to also fight for their relative, a brother of the late Ibrahim Mohammed, who has been in police custody since June 30th this year. So that has been the concern of the family of the late Ibrahim Mohammed, Kaka Mechu.
On him interior of our health desk, we can now listen to the family headed by Nufia Mohammed, who officially petitioned the chief imam, Sheikh Nur Osman Shaributu, to track status of the investigation into the murder of the deceased, indicating that the police investigation has brought more pain to them. He wants government to actually make public the outcome of that investigation conducted into the Ejura disturbances. And he's been speaking to my colleague Pakwesi Wilson.
Our appeal to the family and the minister is to speed up. It took the committee less than a month to finish their work. What is it taking the Interior Minister to read a report more than a month? What is it? What time? What time do they need more? Please, the youth and the citizens of Ejura need peace and justice. So they are ready for the what? They are ready to hear the outcome of the committee's report. So the youth are not happy about the delay. So we are still waiting. And we say the youth of Ejura need justice. Those who were hurt, I have the brother who is amputated and other colleagues, they really need justice. So we are talking and we are praying and we are appealing to the necessary authorities to do the needful, and let's get the report out for things to unfold.
On him interior, so did they give timelines as to how soon they want government to publish this and also act on implementing the recommendations?
For the family, they want it as quick as possible. They believe strongly that when government come out with the recommendations and then how government will implement the recommendations, it will go a long way to ameliorate the challenge and then the difficulty and then the pain in the heart of the youth of Ejura, especially those 4 people who fell victim to the clashes in Ejura.
On him interior is with our health desk, but the chief imam, Nur Osman Shaributu, has been expressing concerns also about the delay of the investigation into the murder of Kaka. Listen.
So that let's all be kind and be good. When we are good, to all the blessings, the consequence will come to our children and the younger generations. So we pray for all those who have departed. We pray for our grandparents and other family members. We pray for God's mercy. May God have compassion on them. We also want to pray that our end should be good. May we end on a very good note. Whatever appeal that has been brought to me this morning, I am also concerned. I'm also affected that I have not heard anything from the investigations. I will make my advisory board to get involved, so that we find out exactly where are we with respect to the investigations, so that we will find solution to the problem and also establish justice.
That was Sheikh Nur Shaributu, the National Chief Imam, assuring them that he would also put a voice to ensure that the recommendations are implemented. Wife of the deceased, though, Sahada Nuhu, says she is struggling to fend for herself, the family, and since the demise of her husband. According to her, she depends on 1 and 2 Ghana cedis from friends for her upkeep. The widow appealed to government to release Idi Mohammed, brother of Kaka, who has been kept in police custody over his alleged involvement in the murder of Kaka. She narrates her ordeal to Parker Wilson.
A taimaka musu to shi kuma ga shaidin da aka dagwara mai shi ma an kama shi yasa yanzu rayuwa dai shi Allah da Annabi da ƴan uwaye da mutanen duniya baki daya mai 2000 mai 3000 mai 1 cedi mai 2 cedi ake taimaka muna muke samu muna rayuwa kadan da shi yasa gaskiya muna bukatan taimako ƴan uwaye duniya baki daya wanda ke da niyyar taimaka muna maraba da shi domin rayuwa yanzu ya sake abin da ke.
In totality, what she's saying is that life has been very difficult after the demise of our brother, Kaka. So what is really happening is that we are now left to the mercy of benevolent family members and benevolent society. So society are now helping us. People who have 1 cedi, 2 cedi are those people helping us now. The greater pain of the incident is the arrest of our brother, Idi Mohammed. He is the one who is supposed to have been helping out. Before the demise of our brother, he works, and I also work as a wife to assist him so that we take care of the children. Now, Idi is now in that arena to help us, because he will go and work and bring food to the family. But now, this is the case that they have falsified testimonies that have led to his arrest. And now we are faced with this problem. If he is there, Idi Mohammed, if he is there, he will go out and work for us to be able to feed the family. But this is the case, he is also behind bars for a crime he don't know anything about.
So how has the absence of impacted on the family itself, the children? How are they coping? Did they miss their father? What have they been saying?
Ko muna cikin wani damuwa ma ne ya bar mu yi dariya. Shi yasa kullum muna tuna da shi, Allah ji kanshi. Allah kuma ya yafe mai.
So in short, what she's saying that the family really missed Mohammed Ibrahim alias Kaka. The family really missed him a lot because he's a type who is loving and caring to the children and the wife. She is only reflecting on a memory that even when he was alive, in the morning after he left for work, when he's returning to work in the evening, all the family, the children would just be happy because he's coming. Any incidents that is happening in the house, any problem they have in the house, immediately he comes in. He will just be jovial. He just talk to them to console them and what? Give them hope for life. So in this case, who is going to give them that hope? Sometimes within the evening, as she said, within the evening she'll be expecting, she's sitting down as if she's expecting that he's coming. But she'll wait and wait until it's thought he's not coming. So sometimes the children in the morning, they will ask her, sometimes funny because he has to play with the children before they go to school. He play with them. So every morning the children will start asking, if my dad is alive, he would have been saying this, he would have been saying that. We will all be laughing together in the house. So it's a kind of memory that they cannot do away with. He is loving to the family. He's welcoming. So that memory has always been with them. They can never forget of him. And we as a family can never forget of him.
You've petitioned the chief imam. He has assured you of seeking intervention to ensure that justice is served. How soon does he want the chief imam to speed up the process?
So that was Sada, who is wife of Kaka, demanding that the brother of Kaka, Idi, who is now in police custody, be released. Ohiming, what has become of that case in court?
Thank you, Aisha. The case, to the best of my knowledge, was called at the Asapa District Court on the 12th of this month, and the presiding judge, Anna Ekuya Asante, adjourned the sittings and proceedings to September 7, 2021. This was the third time the court has called the case and adjourned the case in that regard. The prosecutor, Chief Superintendent Kofi Blaguji, had told the court that a duplicate docket has been sent to the Attorney General's office for advice, and that he prayed the court to adjourn a sitting to September 7th. This happened at the time that even the three accused persons, talking about Isaka Ibrahim and Fusedi Alasan, both known to be New Patriotic Party polling station executives in Nigeria, and Idi Mohammed, a brother of the late Kaka Machu. Though they were expected in court at that time, police were yet to bring them in court. So the court adjourned proceedings to September 7th, 2021, so that when the Attorney General advised and give peruse the documents, then police says that will aid in their investigations.
Ohimini is with our health desk. Now, the Deputy Roads and Highways Minister, Stephen Jalula, says 4 contractors have been dispatched to work on the damaged sections of roads destroyed by floods in the Upper West region. 2 weeks ago, 8 out of 11 communities were cut off after the rains, which also displaced many as well as destroyed farmlands. It took days for the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, to send relief items to those affected as roads were unmatchable, and Transport Minister Kwesi Makwata promised to set in processes to immediately fix the roads. Let's cross to the Upper West region and speak with Rafiq Salam, our man on the ground for us. Rafiq, what has become of the victims of the flood? Have the roads been fixed? What's the latest? Hello, Rafiq.
The roads for now. Hello.
Rafiq, I can hear you loud and clear. Go on.
Isa.
Rafiq, go ahead.
Hello, Isa.
Go ahead.
Yet to be fixed, because the roads for now are yet to be fixed because it's their major roads are in the Upper West region, and the traffic on these roads is are heavy, and so it's not going to be fixed 1 month or 2 months or even half a year. Engineers have told me at the back of these destruction that they need a situation has situation currently pertains is that the people who are affected by the floods are still wallowing in.
So we're having a bad connection with Rafiq Salam's internet, but Deputy Roads and Highways Minister Stephen Jalula says about 5 contractors have been tasked to immediately begin with work on the roads. He joins us live for some more conversation.
Hello.
Mr. Jalula, I'm grateful for your time. How soon will these contractors get to work?
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Jalula.
Yeah. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
All right. Thank you for having me. Yesterday, the Minister of Roads and Highways, the Honorable Kwesi Makwata, met with contractors who are to work on the damaged roads in Accra, and I think he has instructed them to go straight to work to get all those roads fixed. Yeah, so that is what has happened, and we are hopeful that the contractors will move to site as soon as possible. We settled on 4 contractors to do the roads for us because already they are doing some roads in the region, and it will be easy for them to mobilize to site to get the work done.
We'll be looking forward to that. Of course, are there timelines as to exactly when we can have this done and then relieve the people?
The timeline is as soon as possible. You know, construction work, you cannot really do it as soon as we would want it to be done. But I'm sure that they will work around the clock to fix the road for the people in the Upper West region.
Stephen Jalula is the Deputy Roads Minister. I'm grateful for your time on The Pulse. We'll take a break on The Pulse.
Hello, my name is Evans Mensah, and you can relive all the fun and excitement on Top Story, Newsnight, and of course, Ghana Connect via podcast. All you need to do is to log on to my Joy Online/podcast. Search for your favorite show and relive the moment. Joy 99.7 FM, your radio for discerning listeners.
And that's how we part company on The Pulse this afternoon. For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com. You have updates of all the developing stories. So I'll see you again at 9 p.m. I've indeed enjoyed my 2-hour stay with you. Looking forward for another exciting moment at 9 p.m. Right now, Let's Talk Showbiz is up next. To enjoy the rest of our programs.
Hello there, you're welcome to Let's Talk Showbiz here on the Joy News channel. My name is Doreen Avio, and trust me to bring you all the latest in your world of showbiz. So today I'm going to be telling you about the Ghana Music Awards USA. I'm sure we all knew that Samini was the headline act for the event, and you know how he does it. I'll bring you highlights on that one, and also I have some updates on MOG. Yeah, MOG has been talking about the gospel music industry, and maybe there are some things you and I probably knew or did not know, but it's an opportunity for us to learn every day. So we will be hearing from him. This and many more here on the show. Don't go away. The name is Doreen Avio.
Hello, my name is Nathaniel Atto. You can catch up with all the fun and inspiration on the Joy Sports link here on Joy 99.7 FM, together with all other shows over and over again. It's very simple. All you need to do is go to myjoyonline.com/podcast and relive all of those fun moments over and over again. Joy 99.7 FM, your radio for discerning listeners.
Joy 99.7.
If you're just joining me, this is Let's Talk Showbiz, and I'm starting with Ghana Music Awards USA. Of course, we all know that Dinah Hamilton was crowned the Artist of the Year at the event which took place over the weekend. Dinah Hamilton was the same person who won Artist of the Year at the recently held Ghana Music Awards here in Ghana. So it's like double more blessings for her. But of course, Samini was the headline act for the event, and you know how he does it. He took it like slowly and then gradually on that high tempo. And listen, the auditorium was just lit. Beautiful people, amazing people were there to, of course, be part of the awards. And we are here to bring you highlights of it. Sure you were not there? That's why I'm here for you.
It's been too hard to reach her, and she wants me still as you. Say she's okay. What? Well, I'm every day. I said, well, it's every day. But we say she still goes on my way. You try to say I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Well, my baby. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. But she said she still goes on my way. She's okay. If it's so way she didn't like me. Whoa. Baby, I don't know it. I said, baby.
Right, so those were highlights of the event. Samini there on stage. We also had a prior, that's Honeho, who was also there. SK Original, you remember him? He and Nana Boro on a higher day, you know, he's currently based in the States. Quite a number of people were there to, you know, be part of the event, and it's always a pleasure to bring you the exclusives here on Let's Talk Showbiz. Now, let's move away from that and go straight to Something Must Kill a Man, a play put together by Lateef Abubakar. And we have just 8 more days for the main event at the Labadi Beach Hotel. And as part of that, we've had some amazing people endorsing it. And the newest ones to actually join is actors Ajete Anan and Na Shoko. And well, they're telling you that, listen, it's going to be an amazing time and it's going to be a great time for all of you, and also get to build yourself up at the Labadi Beach Hotel. Let's hear from Na Shoko and of course Ajete Anan.
Hi, my name is Ajete Anan. Something Must Kill a Man in 10 days. This is an open-air theater by Lateef Abubakar at the Labadi Beach Hotel on the 2nd, 3rd and 4th of September, 7 p.m. each night. Come have fun and learn about team building. Don't miss this one.
Hello, my name is Na Shoko. Something Must Kill a Man in 9 days. This is an open-air theater by Lateef Abubakar, happening on the 2nd, 3rd and 4th of September at the Labadi Beach Hotel. Don't miss it.
Right, so those were actors Ajete Anan and Na Shoko. And as we are counting down, remember that day in, day out, will definitely bring you surprises here on the show. And of course, Lateef Abubakar will also catch up with him just to know how preparations are ongoing for the main play on the 2nd and on the 3rd of September here in Accra at the Labadi Beach Hotel. And now to a conversation on gospel music, which has been going on for some time now. But last Saturday, it was on Showbiz A to Z, and we had some gospel musicians coming in to share a few things perhaps you and I did not know about. And one person who did that was MOG. He says something maybe a few people might agree or will not agree with him. He says that gospel musicians have the tendency of lasting longer than secular artists. I don't know what you think about it, but he explained, he gave examples, and I was moved. I don't know how you're going to feel about that, but hey, let's hear what MOG had to say about that.
There are certain benefits that we gospel artists get from the church that I believe the secular artists don't get. I'll give you an example. A gospel artist has the ability to stay longer in ministry or in the as a gospel artist than a secular artist. We have the likes of Daughters of Glory Jesus, still relevant up to today. Tego Sisters. Where is CK Man? Where is even the legendary Amachi Dede? How many shows does he play in a year? But Daughters of Glory Jesus are always on the road, and Tego Sisters are always on the road doing something in the church.
Hold on. You're on very slippery grounds.
I think that most of the churches gradually have developed that understanding. I can speak for what I know about Maker's House, my church right now, who have their instrumentalists and musicians on payroll. I am not on payroll for personal reasons. I decided not to be on payroll. I agreed to work for the church for free because I have my own day job and businesses that take care of me. So that aside, you see, there is the role of the artist in their home church and then as guest artists outside. We have to clarify that arrangement. And that's where I mentioned about the fact that the church brought you up, and sometimes the best they can do for you is an honorarium to say thank you. That's where I started that argument from. And there's a cultural bit to it that we need to, with discussions like this, educate our people on that matter. I mean, our leaders in the church on that matter. I'm going to give you some points that actually account for why we are not able to monetize as much as we want our craft.
Hold on.
Number one
we'll come to the monetization bit.
And say that the premium he's putting on the artists coming from Accra to Kumasi is 1,500 Ghana cedis. And that is actually the problem. So the moment you as the manager, from a professional perspective, will try to educate that, Papa, if the artist comes, A, B, E, C, X, Y, Z is what goes into Kofi Sapon performance. That we are a bandsmen of 14. And that when we are coming with 2 cars. And when we come, this is what we do. The people who are playing with, each of the 14 bandsmen, each person has to be paid 300 Ghana cedis per performance allowance from coming to perform in Kumasi. Hey! And then he can even tell you that, and then offer to the whole day in our Kwansi, the mama. So that's why I'm saying that the practitioners themselves are not ready to put a premium on. So most of the times, most of the gospel musicians that goes to event and even get higher paid, they don't even get paid within the gospel fraternity. They rather get higher pay on external, into quote, secular environment. Like coming to, like the one you mentioned, like George Quay inviting them for a national something, perform, then you give 20,000. Or like somebody is doing a birthday, a private person is celebrating and sees Joe Metal and wants to, like, oh, okay, Joe Metal is coming. And he is sitting in his home and you see the way he's seeing Joe Metal blown. And he's like, no, I can't pay Joe Metal 5,000. No, Joe Metal comes, Joe, I have 20,000. I want to bless you with it. But it is difficult for the fraternity, the Christian fraternity that Joe belongs to look at his face and say, for all the Joe's craft and his creativity, let me call him to come and minister in my church on Sunday and possibly pay him 20,000 Ghana cedis.
And father,
what baffles me in all my 25 years in this job, in all my 25 years, is that the same people who are not ready to put this premium on their own ministers here, the same people can go externally and bring Sinach to come and do a 3-day power park in his church here in Ghana and pay Sinach $25,000.
That one is possible.
That one is possible.
But for the local, it's not possible.
I'm telling you. So if you talk to majority of the external artists that comes here to perform, and if you go and check and you do know that Sinach has actually been into this country in several occasions and do 3 days revival in a church here and gone without nobody knowing.
We know.
Yes. And the people are comfortable paying those money to that external artists. But those who are here, 1,500.
Right, so I hope you had a good time. Well, I did. I also got to learn a few things from some of these artists. And, well, it's always a pleasure to bring you all the latest in your world of showbiz. My name is Doreen Avio, and a very big thank you to you, Ike and Obed. We are back here same time here on the Joy News channel. But on Facebook and on Twitter, I'm Doreen Avio. And on Instagram, it's Doreen_Avio. Log on to myjoyonline.com for more of our stories. Enjoy your evening.